Anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist Douglas Murray goes on the Joe Rogan show to call out Joe Rogan for hosting anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists. He was followed by another anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist, Jordan Peterson, who did pretty much the same thing. And this goes both ways. People like Dave Smith or Candace Owens, they couldn't give two shits about the Palestinian people. They're just looking for an excuse to blame Jewish people for every traumatic event in history, from the crucifixion to that stupid episode of The Last of Us. I know what you were thinking. I know. You're a video game writer, and you're sitting there thinking, I want to be like a prestige TV show. Remember when they killed Adriana? Yeah, but they didn't kill Tony Soprano, and they didn't kill him at least they didn't kill him in the second episode of the second season. Dumb. Then there are those that hurl accusations as a means of trolling. Grifters like Destiny, who will minimize the Holocaust with one side of his mouth while labeling their streaming competitors as anti-Semitic. I would put Ethan Klein into that last category. Do you guys know who Sam Hyde is?
Now, I'll say Sam is an extraordinarily funny guy that inspired me a lot when I was coming up.
In high school, Sam Hyde was elected class clown because, like a clown, his face makes babies cry. This is like when former fans of Russell Brand will try to convince me that he used to be funny, and I'm like, when? Prove it. Tell me a Sam Hyde joke. Because I went down the rabbit hole on this guy, and by rabbit hole I mean sewer. Here's a few examples. This is what this guy claims is comedy. Sam attends a gay pride event. He and a friend stalk and surround and attempt to intimidate women who are overweight, and they tell them that they look disgusting. Until someone steps in and is like, leave them alone, leave this person alone, and then they start crying to the cops. He once hired a young lady to pretend to be his girlfriend so that he can prank a guy named iDubbbz into believing that he had a girlfriend. That's some real Andy Kaufman shit right there. He went to New Haven with an All Lives Matter sign and then just yelled racist shit at people. Oh, this is the one that people cite the most. He spoke at a TED Talk. And it was supposed to be like a Yes Men style prank. But instead of coming out on stage looking presentable with a sweater and one of those fruity Ricky Gervais head mics and reading off a teleprompter, he came out in a gladiator outfit, reading from notebook paper so that everyone automatically knew that what they were going to see was bullshit. This guy, this dork, does not even understand the fundamentals.
Say Sam is an extraordinarily funny guy that inspired me a lot when I was coming up. But he's also he's just a little crazy, and also extremely right wing, and potentially a Nazi as well.
He's not potentially a Nazi. He's an actual neo-Nazi. Not only are there photos of him giving the Roman salute, the quote-unquote Roman salute, with other neo-Nazis, not only did he contribute money to the legal defense fund of the Daily Stormer back when they were being sued for stalking some random Jewish lady, Not only can you hear him on podcasts talking about white replacement and the need for racial segregation, or you could watch his quote-unquote stand-up sets where he just stands there arguing about whatever, how cops can do no wrong, to no laughs whatsoever. But there's actual footage of this dork burning books by Jewish authors at a Nazi book burning. So when Ethan Klein says that he was inspired by Sam Hyde, what exactly does he mean by that? There's plenty of unfunny people who can teach Ethan how to be unfunny, though from what I've seen, that comes quite naturally to him. I think the most charitable interpretation here is that Ethan doesn't give a shit about anti-Semitism.
I mean, when he did the World Peace Show, there was a sketch where it was just a bunch of kids going, Jews, we love Jewish people. And I was like, this makes me very uncomfortable.
The point is to make people uncomfortable because someone like Sam can't make people laugh. I know fascists have a reputation for hilarity, but Hitler did ban the Marx Brothers from Germany. That sketch Ethan is referring to is called Jews Rock, which is basically a ripoff of Wondershowsen. But except Wondershowsen was funny and it made a point. Sam's bit was just this sort of schizoid gibberish injected with anti-Semitism or racism, and the whole show was pretty much that. Just incoherent, feeble attempts to shock and be weird because you can't figure out how to write a joke. Fascists can't process humor, so they go for discomfort because other people's pain makes them happy. And they interpret that as comedy. When Jeff Zucker found out who Sam Hyde was from the many articles exposing his online presence, he had Adult Swim cancel Sam's show. Now, Sam Hyde tried to blame Tim Heidecker because Tim Heidecker was funny, and Tim Heidecker has original ideas, and he somehow manages to be successful with those ideas. And there's a similar dynamic here between Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker. Ethan used to do shows where he'd say the N-word 30 times a minute and make sexually explicit comments about bombing victims, and then Ethan got older and his audience aged, and I guess maybe they got bored with it. And he started thinking about his future, so he tried to change his image. He tried to become political. But he was just too stupid and too innately conservative to pull it off. Hassan Piker, on the other hand, is very successful talking politics. Interview magazine takes his picture. He's featured in the New York Times. So obviously he's anti-Semitic. Ethan Klein doesn't care about anti-Semitism. It's simply a means of attack. That's all he cares about. Status. By the way, if you run into any anti-Semites, any known anti-Semites who claim to be anti-Zionist, they're CIA plants. They clearly are working for the CIA.